All right, you guys. So before we get started, I do want to warn you guys there are multiple imports and exports. So those things, do take time depending on how the length of the video. Sometimes it could be 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I am gonna either be skipping through it or just fast forwarding through it, depending on how I edit this video at the end. So I do want to warn you guys. The first thing, let's go ahead and get started here. The first thing that I'm going to want to do here is I've already done this just for sake of time. But if your video has anything in the middle of it, in the middle where you need to do some edit, like you got to cut something out or anything like that, then you will need to import the video first into Adobe. Take care of that before we move on to step 2. All right, now if you do not have anything in the middle that you don't need to do any editing in the middle of the video, you don't need to cut anything out. You can move on straight to step number 2. Majority of the time you may need to cut out the ending, like if you at the very end of your video you moved it around by the time that you hit the record button to stop recording, or in the beginning maybe there's a little bit of lag time before you started the video. That's totally fine. You don't have to import into Adobe first to cut that out. You can move on straight to step number 2 and just go ahead and caption the video, and then we can take that out afterwards. All right, that's just going to save you some time. It's going to save you one less import and export from Adobe. Okay, so it'll save you a few minutes. All right, so I've already done my cuts. I've already cut out a small piece here in the middle, and then I have also already cut out the beginning and the end since I already have it in here. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to export this video out of Adobe, and then we are going to move on to step number, it takes time. I'm just going to label it that. Okay. All right, and then after I get this exported, then we'll move on to step number 2, which will be to caption our video. All right, so I have I have exported my video out of Adobe now. And now the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I wanna caption my video now. And what I'm doing and what I'm using to caption my video is this software here, Zubtitles.com. Okay, I love this software here. I have also accommodated and set me up with a custom plan, a custom pricing plan to match the amount of videos that I'm captioning every single month. I love the accuracy. I love the way that you are able to caption videos so easily. The importing and exporting process of it is amazing. I cannot say enough about this process, this platform here. I am going to be dropping my referral code down in the description. If you do want to go ahead and get a subscription with Subtitle, we both get 50% off on our plans or on our next bill if you do go ahead and move forward. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to add a new video here. Let's go ahead and find my video, and here it is. I'm going to upload this, and this will take maybe a few minutes here. So all right, you guys, so we have our video here all set, ready to be captioned. Again, I love the accuracy of this. Majority of the time, I'm only changing a few words here, but we are going to go through this and make sure that all the captions are good or are accurate. One thing I did forget to mention here inside of Adobe Premiere, when I'm exporting this video, make sure that you are exporting this video in 1920 by 1080. Okay, so you do want this to be the full it's 1920 by 1080, so it's your what most platforms are for is using the full landscape version of your video. All right, so we are exporting this in 1920 by 1080 to go into our caption and into our subtitle platform. After that, we will be changing the dimensions here in order to match the platforms that we're going to be using it for. All right, so let's go ahead and go back over here. I'm going to go ahead and start captioning this. Again, I love what I'm going to do here. So if you are using Zubtitles.com, what I love here is that it automatically changes the aspect ratio of the video, and the way that we want to set these up in order for them to look originally, like I've shown you here, just, you know, like this aspect ratio right here. I do want to change this to square. All right, so I'm going to change this to a square, and then we will change that and fix that in our inside of Adobe. All right, so I'm going to change this. I'm going to go ahead and make this background white. The other thing I'm going to do here also is I'm going to change my caption style. So this is another thing that I really love, is they have tons and tons of fonts. I already have my fonts already saved, and the ones that I like to use, especially for this client here, because we use certain colors. And so I'm going to go ahead and select my style of font. I'm going to change this aspect ratio to square, and then let's see if I like the way my captions sit on this video here. So I could also change the positioning of where these sit. So I'm going to move that up just a little bit so that it's centered here, down here at the bottom. All right, the other thing too is if you wanted to have the subtitles on the actual screen just like that, then you know you would have the widescreen 16:9 aspect ratio. But again, I'm going to change this because this is going to be I'm going to change this to a square because I want my subtitles to sit down here at the bottom. All right, this video is over a minute, so this is going to be an IGTV video for Instagram, and same thing. Well, it's going to be different for the other platforms, but for Instagram it'll be IGTV. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to start subtitling this. I'm going to kind of just zip through this so that you don't have to watch me subtitle or caption, I mean. I'm going to change my...
it's Carlos and Nikita.
Change my audio output there. So I'm going to get through this. You'll want to go through this process and caption your video.
So at this signing, it's Carlos and Nikita. It's a really fun journey for them because I started, Carlos was a friend and he was renting from us, and from there we just started talking about buying and then the benefits of buying. But then as life happens, he got a significant other and was planning a marriage, you know, wedding, all that kind of stuff. All that stuff's super expensive, but it was just part of him building this life. And literally, geez, 2, 3, maybe even 4 years it's been that we've been talking about this.
Oh man.
And he's been super smart about it.
I don't know what happened there. My Adobe gave out on me there. All right, so let's go back and
life.
And literally, he said literally. Jeez. Okay. 2,
3, maybe even 4 years it's been that we've been talking about this. And he's been super smart about everything, responsible, lining up all his ducks in a row. And what was amazing was that when he did finally go out and start looking for houses, you know, house hunting, because he had everything lined up and because he'd been planning for so long, we got a super good deal. So he was pre-qualified, ready to go, and he was ready to move. Was pre-qualified, ready to go, and he was ready to move as soon as he found the opportunity for him to get a good deal. We jumped on it, put in a nice offer, and got it for less than it was worth. They paid his closing cost. It appraised for way higher than we than we got the house for. I mean, just everything went well, and now we're about to sign. It still will take a couple days for us to fund and then record, but in just a couple days he'll be a homeowner that we've been planning for the last few years, and it's so exciting for me to see that journey from just kind of talking about it and then years and years later making all the right moves, making it happen, and making it happen in such a perfect way for them. So I'm really excited for them, and this is a good one.
All right, so we are done captioning this video. Like I said, that was super fast. I only had to change a few words. The accuracy of this software here is amazing. So I'm gonna go ahead and just download this video. And again, this is gonna take a few minutes here for this to download. Meanwhile, I am going to go back and open up my Adobe here and let that load back up while this video downloads from Zubtitle. And so the next step that we are going to want to do here is we're going to go ahead and download this video, and then we're going to have to import it back into Adobe. And now we'll be able to make our edits. We'll be able to add our headline to it. We'll be able to add our progress bar and change our aspect ratio to fit the platforms that we are going to need it for. In this case, we are going to be exporting this video into 2 different aspect ratios because, like I mentioned, we are going to have one vertical to fit the IGTV, and the other aspect ratio is going to fit our other platforms such as Facebook. All right, so we have our video downloaded now. I am going to open up Adobe now, and let's see. We are going to import this video into Adobe, and now we'll be able to make our edits. Okay, so let's go ahead and import this. All right, we are set. And let's line that up right there. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to change this aspect ratio, right? We don't want to export it like this with these huge black bars on the end. And so the aspect ratio, that the first one that we're going to export with is our vertical version. So basically all we're going to do now is just flip these around. So the vertical version for IGTV is 1080 by 1920. Okay, so now this will give us the accurate vertical version that will fit for IGTV because we do have a video that's more than a minute. Right, so now you see here we have this ugly black bars up at the top because we have this in a square. The square, if this is the reason why I like to export it as a square, is because it gives me a good so that way I know when it sits into my IGTV feed, I know where I have to put my headline in. So as long as I put my headline and it fits inside of this little white area right here, I know that I'm good, and it'll actually show on the on my actual feed, on the Instagram feed. All right, anything above this is not going to show in the feed up until you open up the video as an IGTV. Then you'll be able to see it up at the top, since it'll display the full vertical version. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm gonna take out this black here. So what I'm going to do is over here, I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna add a new item, and I'm going to click on color matte. Okay, so this is gonna give me a new background. So I'm gonna change this to white to match this white here. I'm gonna label this white. And so I'm gonna take this, and you do have to drop this underneath. Okay, so if I have it on top, it's not gonna work. It's gonna cover the whole thing. Okay, so I have to change this all the way to the top, and I have to have it underneath. Okay, so that way the video sits on top of this white. All right, so here we go now, and I'm gonna go ahead and leave that just like that actually. All right, so now we have this video set. Let me make sure that I can hear it. Okay, I can hear it. Perfect. Okay, so there it is now. It's sitting there now. So what we want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and add music to this, and I'm also going to add an ending because this is for an actual client. We are actually going to use this as well. So I'm going to go ahead, and I don't think I have it in here just yet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring his logo in and drop that in here, and I'm going to use this as my ending. And I'm going to also pick out some music because I thought I had some music already picked out. Apparently I do not. So what does this sound like? Let's see. Nope, we're not going to use that one. What does this sound like? Okay, bear with me here while I choose this music. I thought I already had done this. Let's go with this one. Okay, so I'm going to import this song into here. I'm also going to just take care of this right now. And I want it to match. So we need to drop this volume while he's talking.
Way for them, so I'm really excited for them, and this is a good one.
Okay, so it looks like it did not cut out the ending. All right, so I got to cut out the ending so that there's no dead space, because if you can see here, there's dead space at the end that I have to cut out. So this is something that you might want to look out for too if you have any dead space at the end.
This is a good one.
Okay, so the ending is right there, and now I'm gonna move that over there. I'm gonna make this bigger. Boom, just like that. Okay, so now I just want to match my song to.
This is a good one.
And on the beat. Okay, so this ending here drags out a little bit. So the way I want to do this is we're gonna use this transition right here. Perfect. All right, so I actually like that, just like that. I am going to use an audio transition. So now I need to raise the volume at this ending here, because I have it low
I'm really
here.
excited for them, and this is a good one.
And then we're gonna raise the volume over here. Okay, so it'll
this is a
look
good
like this. All right, we take care of that. That's super easy. Now we just want to change this over here as well. All right, so next thing we want to do is I'm going to go ahead and add the progress bar. All right, so the progress bar is also pretty easy here. I'm going to walk you through this process and how I do it. So I'm going to add another one of these, but another one of these backgrounds, but I'm going to do it in red. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new item. I'm going to do a color matte. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to do this in red. Okay, you could change this to any color if you know something that matches your brand. Red is our brand, is the color that we use here, or that he uses for his brand. And so I'm going to go ahead and select this as red. I'm going to label it red. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this and I'm going to drag it at the very top. Okay, so I want this to be above everything else. Make sure that it's at the very beginning. And then I'm going to drag this all the way to the end. Okay, so now that it's covering all of this, I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and I'm going to take, you're going to get this highlighted area here on this red box, and you're going to take this little target here and you're going to move it all the way to the left. And so and then now when we adjust this, the left side of this rectangle here is going to stay. This won't move. Okay, so the positioning of this won't move anymore. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to change our dimensions here. So I'm going to make this smaller. What I want to do is I'm going to do this as I want to adjust the height and the width separately. Okay, so when you go into this red box here, click on uniform scale, and then I'm going to go ahead and adjust the height. So I'm going to bring the height down all the way down to 1. Okay, so I want a small thin line, and then I also want this to start at the very beginning. Okay, so there it is, it's starting at the very beginning, and now what we have to do is adjust where it's going to sit. Okay, so I want it to sit right below my video. I want to make sure that it's right there. Good, perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to start at the very beginning of this clip, and at the very beginning I'm going to set a keyframe. Okay, Okay, so this is going to give us the animation of it, you know, looking like it's progressing from the beginning to the end. So if I set a keyframe, it's going to lock that position there. Here in this position, it's going to set it at the width at 2. And now what I want to do is I'm going to drag this all the way to the very end, as far as I can. And now what I want to do now is I'm going to bring this all the way down to the very end. Okay, so boom, just like that. And now we are all set. So now we have our progress bar set up. There you go. Okay, so now that we have our progress bar set, I'm gonna go ahead and title this. I'm gonna drop a headline on this one. And so what I want to do as my headline is, let's see here. All right. So what I want to do as my headline is I'm going to add this headline, and I'm going to put, I got to change the color of this. So let's go ahead and change this graphics. I'm going to change it to black. And then I'm also going to change the font. So, okay, did not change the color. Let's change it one more time. What the heck? Okay. Black. And then changing this to impact. Okay. There we go. All right. Benefit of your process early. All right, so we got that set, and now I just want to adjust this to fit across my video here. So I like to have this one at the very end, or go all the way to the end, and then this one will sit a little bit smaller and sit over here at the beginning. Okay. All right, so now what we want to do is, because it's just sitting right here, so if I don't adjust that, then it's only going to show during that period right there. You see that? So now I want to adjust this to go all the way across throughout my video. And I think I went a little too far there. Okay. So we're all set. We have our video already created. Now the last thing that I want to do here is I'm going to select this area here, and I am going to export this. I'm going to make sure that this is, I'm going to export this as, first I'm going to do this as a 1080 by 1920 for IGTV, and then I'll come back, change my aspect ratio. So I change this to 1080 by 1350, and this is going to be my aspect ratio for Facebook, for example. That is going to change how it looks. So all you would have to do here is click on this one, or sorry, let's go ahead and adjust our progress bar. So we would adjust the progress bar down to the bottom. Okay, and then of course we have to change where our headline sits. So all you would have to do is just click on these, make sure they're highlighted, and then just adjust and make sure they fit accordingly to the aspect ratio. Okay, so that is it. That is how I create my rapper videos, my Gary Vee style videos here. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.